My name is Janice Frazier Scott, affectionately known as Jan. I'm the HR Generalist Title IX Coordinator here at Southern College of Optometry. Well, I grew up here in Memphis. My family moved here when I was about 3 years old from St. Louis, so I'm a Midwesterner by birth. My grandfather was a Christian Methodist Episcopal church minister, and so he was moved to pastor a congregation here in Memphis, which happens to be Collins Chapel CME Church, one of the oldest black churches here in the city of Memphis. My parents were military, and so when my mother and my stepfather were transferred to San Diego, California, I was given the option of either moving with my family or staying here with my grandparents. And since I'm the oldest of 5, I decided maybe I would stay here with my grandparents. My grandfather was the president of the Memphis branch of the NAACP in 1957 to, I believe, 1959. Growing up as a child, I got to the point where I was no longer allowed to answer the telephone when it rang because my grandfather received threats from people in the community because of his activism. So going forward, I was always involved in civil rights. That was just a part of what we did as a family. I can remember even as a child participating in marches in front of what was Goldsmith's department store at the time. And the reason we were marching was because Goldsmiths refused to use courtesy titles when black people shopped there, whether they had charge accounts or if they paid by cash. They never used a courtesy title with your name, and they attempted to call you by your first name if they saw that on your charger plate. So I was involved at a very young age in activism here in Memphis. My grandfather was a part of the ministers group that brought Dr. King to Memphis in support of the sanitation workers who were on strike in 1968. The picture that you refer to was actually taken during the course of a march that Dr. King led here in Memphis in support of the sanitation workers. Most people who grew up in Memphis or were living in Memphis at that time knew, or they do know, that that march resulted in violence that day, which had never transpired when Dr. King had led marches in the past. There was some looting going on and what people would refer to as rioting during that particular time. And he was very disappointed that that march had turned out that way. And as a result of that, he decided that he wanted to come back to Memphis to lead a peaceful protest. As you know, that march was supposed to have been in April, and he didn't get a chance to lead another march. Yes, I am a third-generation college student, which is unusual, I'm sure, for African American people. Actually, my grandmother went away to college in 1926. She attended Jarvis Christian College in Hawkins, Texas. And she was not the first person in her family to attend college. Her oldest sister, whose name was Idella, had graduated from college and she taught school. Their parents made them promise that as each child finished school, the person who finished would send the next child to school. So that's how she ended up going away to college in 1926. My grandfather, and these are my maternal family that I'm speaking of, my grandfather was a graduate of Eden Seminary in St. Louis. My mother attended Lemoyne-on College here. At that time it was Lemoyne, but she actually graduated from National University in San Diego, California. And I'm a graduate of St. Louis University and Webster University in St. Louis. And both of my brothers are also college graduates as well. My uncles were college graduates, and in fact, one of my uncles obtained his PhD. So we are a family who definitely believed in education. I didn't think I had done anything all that significant to win an award for, but I was appreciative of the fact that my work was recognized and that the NAACP actually benefited financially from my having been recognized for that particular I Serve award. This commemoration actually started as Negro History Week. The originator of Negro History Week did so because there were a number of contributions that African Americans had made to this country that people were not familiar with. And Dr. Carter G. Woodson was responsible for that. In the 1970s, I believe, it was expanded to a whole month. And the reason Dr. Woodson actually chose February was because of the fact that President Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass were both born in February, and because they had some significance as far as abolition of slavery was concerned, he decided that that was the appropriate time to bring about this particular celebration of African American achievement and accomplishment. Of course, the month of February only has 28 days, but the fact is that there would be no history without Black people's history here in the United States. We are an integral part of how this country became the country that it is. And unfortunately, I think sometimes the separation of Black History Month fails to recognize how critical the contributions of Black people were throughout the founding of this nation and then its ultimate development to what it is here in the 21st century. I think a lot of young people don't necessarily know what is going on around them. And we need to make sure that they understand that they have a responsibility to be involved in making America a better nation for all of us. Dr. King used to always talk about until everyone is free, no one is free. And nothing's changed as far as that's concerned. We all must find a way to get involved, to be active in making sure that there is equity and equality, and that people are people. I don't know how to say that better, but find your passion and be involved in making the world a better place to be.